What is up, y'all? Welcome to my fantasy football podcast. Super excited to have you. Episode number 34. We are just chugging along with the NFL season. This is week number 2 of the playoffs already. But hey, make sure you guys are staying tuned in here to my Instagram and this YouTube. Like, comment, follow, and subscribe, please. Let's set some goals here for this new year. It's 2026. This Instagram, y'all are going to hear it first. Let's get this Instagram to like 200, 250 followers by the end of the year. I think that would be amazing. And this YouTube channel, how about we get about 500 subscribers? I think on YouTube, you can really grow your channel at a large rate. I've done a couple promos for a couple guys, and I think we can definitely get this channel to 500 subscribers. I'm going to have to put the work in for sure, especially over the off season. But hey, we're going to set ourselves up for success. And I think you all should too. These fantasy picks and putting your work in over the off season is really how you set yourselves up in the future. Like I said, make sure you're checking me out here on Instagram. But let's just check into the fantasy real quick. All of our leagues are finished. And look at us, number one here, 7-6, and still finished first. Beat out the 10-3, beat out the 12-1, and we took the prize home with the 4th seed. You know us. We got that championship here. Also, in an 18-person league, one of the coolest leagues I think I've ever been a part of, I took first overall. This was amazing. I thought this was so fun. 8 people in the playoffs. This wasn't even for a lot of money. This was more for just hype and with how many people are in it. And this one had 6 defensive slot players instead of a defensive team. So different type of format than what most people are used to. I was really proud of taking this home, especially as a guy who played defense while they played football. I think that's kind of something to hang your hat on. If you got a bunch of defensive guys on your team, you should be able to know what you're talking about in that scenario. In this league, I took second, not too shabby. I really messed up the final game, the championship. I lost by about 35 points, and I had left 60 on the bench. So that was kind of a hurt scenario. And pretty sad there. I actually started Nico Collins, who the morning of got ruled out, and I was at church and trying to be a good boy and not be on my phone. But look at what happens here. This is why you got to take this stuff seriously, folks. You really got to lock in here. And then in this league, I took third place with the 4th seed in the playoffs. My stepdad takes first here. Something we really like to see. Here's a picture of him and Unk here. I've got a couple names on that trophy there. I love that trophy. This is a big money league. Transaction values, trade values, big buy-in. But hey, less about that, more into the NFL season, okay? Let's get into what happened this last week. I'm going to talk about my picks that I had. I did not get a video out, yada, yada. But let's just talk about what we had here. Patriots, Chargers, picked that one pretty easy. I did not think the Chargers were going to do too much. But hey, 3 points while your defense comes out and gets, 4 turnovers. Justin Herbert, you got to be a lot better than that, big guy. Patriots came out in the second half and really put a lick on them. Over here, Jags and Bills, I picked this one wrong. I really thought the Jags would go all the way. And if it wasn't for Trevor Lawrence getting real greedy at the end, it's not like he needed 4 points. He needed 3 points with literally the guy who set the record for the longest field goal of all time on his team. And he just needs about 40 yards. And on the first play of the drive, he throws an interception. I was looking away when it happened. It happened so fast. So that was pretty sad. That's what happens when you try to force it and you're not that guy. Josh Allen is that guy. He could really go all the way. I said whoever was going to win this game will probably win the championship, and it'll probably be Josh now. I just didn't want to put that there because seeing him win it over Patrick is just going to kill my soul. We have the Texans who whooped on the Steelers here. We picked that one for sure, but I thought it'd be a lot closer game. and they're going to go on to play the Patriots. I think this will be so fun to watch. And then we watch the Broncos and the Bills play. The Broncos off a bye. Sean Payton's very good off a bye. Bills kind of struggling. But hey, you didn't see a lot of James Cook last game. Just watch it in this one. I think they just go out and bully that Broncos defense. I think the Broncos pass defense is really where they can hang their hat on. But hey, Broncos rush defense, I think James Cook and Josh Allen can do some exposing here. And they're really going to have to change up the game here. It's going to be cold in there. I promise you that. Over here on the NFC, fantastic games. I mean, just like if you're a football fan, these were so cool to watch. You have so many high scoring games and just cool endings to all of them. Panthers, Rams. Man, I mean, the potential MVP, Matthew Stafford, goes down, finishes the game out. No questions. He's going to do it. And then leaves time on for the Panthers, and they didn't get it done. Eagles, 49ers. I love to see this. This was when the hate watch was active. I had the 49ers picked here. I picked all of these correct. I feel like that's weird as an AFC fan. Um, NFC made all the picks correctly, even with two underdogs there. But hey, 49ers really brought it to the Eagles, especially at home. We like to see that. And there's going to be some very crazy stuff going on with the Eagles. If you don't know about their salary cap, it's extended for a couple years. They're really going to have to do some considerations. There's a lot of talks on A.J. Brown being traded, but quite frankly, it wouldn't make sense for them. I mean, it would it could because of how much issue they've had in the last 3 seasons with him and Jalen Hurts together. But I just don't see them moving on from Jalen Hurts. Unfortunately, I think he's the one that should be moved on from. AJ Brown is a generational player. He's the one that should be kind of stuck over, and they should keep most of those skill guys. I think it's really Jalen Hurts that he can go find a contract elsewhere, man. That's what I'd say. There's a lot of teams that need a quarterback right now. He could easily go to you know, the Raiders, or he could slide on down to, I mean, they don't need one. I mean, you never know. Like the Bucks, if they move on from Baker, or with all the issues in Arizona right now, he could slide over there too. So I think Jalen, if he does go on to somewhere else, or if they go on to some major change, you never know. I mean, this organization is crazy. Howie Mandel, and you guys might be like, what are you talking about, man? Moving on from Jalen Hurts. He won him a Super Bowl last year. But Nick Foles won him a Super Bowl a year and a half later, after they win a playoff game, not lose in the first round. Gone. Head coach gone. So don't be surprised if Nick Sirianni goes too. This is kind of weird. We're going to get into some coaches talk later, but let's just finish this up here. Bears, Packers. Bears. Oh my God. I mean, I had a huge bet out. Like, I think it was like $80 to $100 for Bears first half plus 3.5. I should have just done the whole game. I could have even taken them as a minus 3.5 for the whole game. And the odds would have been amazing. But you live and you learn. They were down 21-3 at halftime, and then came back and win. So this was a huge one for the Bears. I just think this isn't something that they just did this time. Out of 170 offensive snaps played in the 3 games that the Bears and Packers played this year, because they played 2 divisional games and a playoff game, the Bears have led for literally 0 snaps. And they won 2 games. Both of those 2 wins have came on the last possession to win the game. Bears know how to get it done at the end of the game. Don't really know how to hold it in the beginning, which scares me that they'll be tough to get farther in this bracket, and why the Rams might do something, right here, because the Rams could really go at them here. I mean, I'm talking like get up 28 in the first half. And then that's just too many to come back. I mean, you just can't come back for 28. You can talk yada yada. Caleb Williams, he's amazing. But 28 points is just too much, especially if the Rams are pressing on you. But who knows? This could be a cagey affair too. Getting into the rest of the season, I would just say personally, 49ers take it to the Seahawks. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they're great. They play a great defense, but the 49ers are going to fix their mistakes a couple weeks ago. After only scoring 3 points then, and then going to the Eagles and dropping 23. You got to give them some credit here. They really fixed whatever was going on there. And if they can hold those Seahawks to 18 points or 19 points or 13, like they have twice this year, they've held them to 13 points twice this year and beat them once. I give them possibly a game here. This is a huge toss-up game, and I am so excited to watch this football game on Saturday. Bears and Rams, I got to give it to the Rams like we just talked about. And then I have... After that, let's just take San Francisco all the way. San Francisco to the championship. And on the other side, let's take it's at Foxborough on Sunday, 2 p.m. Let's take the Texans sleeper and Broncos. And then let's take the Broncos and the 49ers, and then the 49ers win. It'd be a hell of a season. Shanahan would be coach of the year, undeniable, with all the injuries and everything they've faced here. No kid will be a tough one, though. Looking into this weekend, like we just talked about, who was going to win the games, but what would the spread picks be here? We have 49ers +7. I mean, just bang it. I don't care what the public says. Public saying they're all over it too. Public saying 75%, all over 7.5. I would lay the 7.5. Bills, don't lay it. This is an awful game. On a Saturday at 2:30. Broncos off rest. If anything, I'd take the Broncos. But I'm not betting on this game. I promise you that much. Sunday, Texans, Patriots. Ride with the Patriots, man. Especially at only a 3-point spread. I think they're really good at home. And I think the Texans are not going to be able to do it offensively. Patriots defense is going to get after them. We'll see it. Ooh, Rams Bears. This is just going to be such a good game, man. But you got to take the Rams. And I'd even take the Rams first half spread, whatever it is. Bears have sucked in the first half. Who knows? They'll pull the old switcheroo this week. All right. One last thing. College football championship. We have IU and the Miami Hoosiers. We have a lot of people on the Hoosiers right now. 8.5 is the spread. I saw it at about 7.5 was the opener there. Oh man, this is a tough one. I'm riding with the Hoosiers to win, and I think the best play would be to just throw that in all your plays as a money line parlay. So you run in the Hoosiers with let's say you think the Broncos and the Rams will win. Throw in the Hoosiers. Just throw it on top. That -340 will very generously help you, and I think they'll win. The way Carson Beck played last game, a couple people may have seen him run in a touchdown, but other than that, I just saw him chucking it into open space, and I just see Indiana getting after him. I'm talking get after this kid, especially at home. They're gonna travel to Miami. I mean, I promise you, it's not gonna be a home game for Miami. It's at the U, but there's gonna be a lot of Hoosier fans there too. They're gonna travel. I think other than that, we're gonna talk about a little coaching needs. Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh is now the Giants head coach. Reported by Adam Schefter. This guy's pretty quick on everything. They're working to finalize the agreement. And looks like Dante Moore is staying in college. Yep. All right. So sweet. We're not going to read through too much of his headlines. We're going to come back over here to this Chiefs headline. Lack of buzz around the Chiefs offensive coordinator search raises big concerns. I'm with them. Nick Halden, I'm right with you, brother. Don't know what's going on here. Matt Nagy has been interviewed by multiple people, so it's clear that he's probably moving on, especially if he gets a head coaching job with Arizona, Tennessee, maybe even Miami or Cleveland. They might pick him up. You never know with the young quarterbacks at literally all of those places. I think you can really see Matt Nagy going to any of those, being a quarterback-minded coach, mobile quarterback-minded coach. All of those guys check those boxes. Kyler Murray, Tua, Quinn Ewers. If Penix is okay, that'd be good for him, And then Cam Ward, obviously, for Tennessee. I think Matt Nagy would be a great fit at all those places, but we haven't heard anything about a Chiefs offensive coordinator. We've heard a little Clint Kubiak or sorry, Cliff Kingsbury, not Kubiak, and the Bieniemy, but all they said was they'd be open to it, and nothing really interviews. I think the Chiefs are more concerned about where their money's coming from, and that's scary. So we need some movement in the office. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Brett Veach, man, you haven't done nothing in the last 8 months. I mean, just make a move, man. I just feel like you've been a little contempt, and you got to be able to move, man, especially at a time like this. Like we're just talking about a lot of vacancies here. Arizona Cardinals predicted for Robert Saleh. I also saw over here Clint Kubiak possibly too. Little Mike McDonald, Kyle, Shanahan, Sean McVay. Those would all be a great guy with the Clint Kubiak addition. All of them are from the same conference, and that would be an incredible matchup for the next few years. Falcones, I think John, they said would go here, but that's not a chance anymore. So let's talk about Kevin Stefanski, maybe Mike McDaniel even. I think with the young quarterback and what he was able to do with Tua, I think they'll say, okay, maybe you can do that with our young buck, Michael Penix, or still Kirk Cousins, who's they're paying like hundreds of millions of dollars. Ravens, this one's scary. If they hire Kevin Stefanski, I will just laugh to the bank and bet all my money on the Browns losing all the time. Don't get me wrong, the Browns have had their struggles, and you can't just say, "Hey, that's because he's a coach there. He was a part of the problem." I think obviously they have their own things, but if you have a guy that's just used to being at a poverty franchise and he goes to one of the most elite quarterbacks, two-time MVP, past Super Bowl champion in the last 15, 20 years, he's just going to be in a different swamp, man. I mean, this is just a different game for this guy. Stefanski will not know what to do here. And it's sad that they would even think about that. The Browns, if they fire Mike McDaniel, I think this is the only place he'll end up with the head coaching position. What he should do is go be the Chiefs offensive coordinator, but I don't think he wants to take a step down there. Also mentions of Ted Munkin, and then I was going to come over here as well and see most people said Mike McDaniel here too. Just because of the young guys, Shador, Dylan Gabriel, young quarterbacks. He's really good with those guys. Other than that, we got the Raiders. They already fired Pete Carroll, and he is owed $45 million for the next 2 years, or $30 million for the next 2 years. And with them getting the first to second round or first pick of the draft, it says that Robert Saleh, former Jets coach and current 49ers defensive coordinator. So they think a guy that was the head coach for the Jets is going to go to the Raiders and fix them. Yeah, that's funny. Have fun being in the same spot you are 5 years from now. And then also mentions of Brian Flores, which would be a great one. I think that'd probably be the best way to do it. He was a fantastic defensive coordinator, and I think that's the way to go. Defensive head coach right here. And he's doing great things right now. I mean, you just watch the Vikings and they play some crazy, crazy defense. Especially in a league you got Justin Herbert, Bo Nix, and freaking Patrick Mahomes. You got to play some defense. Speaks of the Miami Dolphins. Says Chris Shula, Rams DC, and Jeff Hafley. So, creating it's the grandson of Don Shula, but Packers defensive coordinator. But I could also see if the Packers let go of Matt LaFleur, him moving down to Miami too, enjoying a little warmer weather instead of the go pack go stuff. Especially with how he likes to run an offense. I think he could really make a turnaround in Miami with a good running back. Looks like here, New York Giants, John Harbaugh, they predicted him. And he's there. He is there. They've got some good picks coming up. Good for them. Pittsburgh Steelers, they say Chris Shula. And this is so cool. Since 1969, 3 head coaches at the Steelers. Chuck Noll, Bill Culler, Mike Tomlin. All of them were like young defensive guys. That says it right here, under 40 defensive guys when they were hired. So you got some cool stuff going on here. I will say that Jesse Minster sitting right around there, Chargers DC would not be a bad pick, but I feel like, yeah, you could also see a young offensive coach and kind of flip it around here. They also say Chris Shula. He turns 40 next month. So yeah, maybe the Rams DC or possibly the Chargers DC. I think I would rather see the Chargers DC. They take a lot of balls away. Tennessee Titans, Matt Nagy, I'm telling you, he's going there. They're a bad team. They have a great quarterback, and he loves a quarterback. And Matt Nagy wants to be there. Promise you. And he's not a great head coach. So please get off the Chiefs team. Now, I think that's it for today. I'm super excited if you're still watching. Please plug in, follow, like, subscribe, comment. Much love for being here on the channel. Check me out everywhere. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.